Our responsibility will be for the through traffic and the general public. Southbound traffic along Adelphi Terrace will have to be deviated from this point because of the large number of people that we're anticipating to take in Tapley's Hill Road, turn left and go towards the city from that point. From Anzac Highway into these side streets, there will be half solid barriers so that those persons who live in the area may get entry to their own streets, but there will be no egress from there onto the Anzac Highway. Now, we have a problem last year with respect to Tea Tree Gully to Houghton. That winding, fairly steep grade caused many of the older vehicles to stop. So with the assistance of the Tea Tree Gully and the Gummaraka Council, that area between the hotel, Tea Tree Gully Hotel, and the Houghton turnoff will become one way. Then any vehicle that does break down, those that have got the momentum may overtake them without any real worries. When we get into Birdwood proper, you recall last year we did have a problem at Birdwood. Main problem in delineating the vehicles that are involved. The motorcycles will take this course here onto the oval. Those that are being inspected for the Concourse d'Elegance will travel much the same route until they get to this point here, where they will continue, cross over the railway line, over the bridge, and into an area here where they will be judged by the Premier and others for the best turned out vehicle. Those other participants that are not going in the judging will turn off at the veterinary surgeon's office to the vast big paddock out there that will take the remainder of those that are involved. Basically, gentlemen, that explains the traffic responsibility we have at Glenelg and at Birdwood. But between those two areas, we have a roving commission, in so much as our solo machines will be continually patrolling the area to ensure that those vintage cars that may not make it, that have broken down, the RAA have been advised to come and assist them. I understand the RAA will in fact have various vehicles in the actual run itself.
The RAA has once again been invited along to the Bay to Birdwood, and we're very pleased to be there. We've been invited by the Bay to Birdwood committee to attend with the Austin A40 van and the outfit here, and both of these vehicles will be fully equipped with tools and available to help anybody that might have any problems on the side of the road. We've also this year entered our 1925 BSA, which is a replica of the type of bikes that were ridden by the patrols in those early days. This 1925 BSA is our pride and joy. When we first received it, it was fairly evident that it spent a lot of its time in a fowl house, and it took Howard Washington, our Manager of Country Services, and myself quite a long time to bring it up to what you see today. In fact, nearly 2 years or over 600 man-hours to restore it. As you can see, it's got acetylene lights, it's got two-wheel brakes, total loss oiling system, and it's quite a brute to start up and to ride. But I hope that I'll make it to Birdwood.
This is the BSA outfit, which belongs to the association, which will be used in the Birdwood Run. It is the only outfit left of a fleet of many. The outfit itself is unrestored. It's in its original condition as it came off the road in 1955 when we changed over to vans. It is fully equipped for emergency service on the road. It carries the spare fuel, oil, wheel spanners, jack, spare coils, a complete set of spanners, SAE, Whitworth and metric, the normal other tools which are handy for work for breakdown purposes, and the heavier stuff on the bottom. In the back we have a fire extinguisher, jumper leads, spare oil, hydraulic brake fluid, a suck bottle, which is a necessity for breakdowns on the road, especially with fuel problems. So as you can see, we're ready for most emergencies. We're looking forward to the run, and it promises to be a good day. Let's have a look at the Austin van. This is the 1953 Austin A40 van, which was restored as an apprentice project in our road service workshops. It has a complete set of tools set out on a shadow board system. It has the jacks, fuel, oil, water, a first aid kit. It also carries in here odds and ends, spare spark plugs, jumper leads, etc. All to spare bolts and nuts. The RAA has been an integral part of the motoring history in this state, and will be there again today should the need arise.
Well, in an event of this nature, there are vehicles of all kinds running. Motorbikes, cars, trucks, vans. Let's now look at just a few that are entered today.
This Leyland Metz turntable ladder, one of only two in the world, is one of the three appliances the Metropolitan Fire Service are placing in the Bay to Birdwood rally. It was on the high seas at the outbreak of the war, and the state government were very lucky to be able to purchase it. It saw notable fires during its 44-year span in the fire service, and attended such notable fires as the News and the Moors fire.
The main features of this ladder is that it has a Leyland straight 6 motor with 2 spark plugs per pot. It has 5 sliding sections on the ladder that extends to 126 feet. It is extended by mechanical means, also has a safety feature built in that it can be lowered and extended by hand. It has lockers on the side which the equipment is carried in, hoses, tools and other additional equipment. Also, it carries a crew of 3 that sit on the front. Any additional crew sit on the side.
Bunnell to Birdwood Rally on the 26th of September this year has our company's 1913 Prince Henry Vauxhall as an entry. This car is a very rare car in as much as that there are only 66 of this particular model built. During 1914, this vehicle had a racing body which was used then by a chap named Wizard Smith, who was a notorious speed driver of that particular era. In fact, this particular car held the land speed record between Melbourne and Adelaide in approximately 1914 through to about 1920, and its stopping power unfortunately didn't equal the speed of the car. It had a transmission brake which was a hand operated outside the body and used a mechanism which encircled the flywheel. To operate the car, you pump up from a mechanism inside the front seat of the vehicle a pressure to the rear tank of the vehicle. On stopping the car, you have to release the pressure at the tank, otherwise it will cause a possible explosion with the fuel as it expands with heat. In those days, the cars were built only as a chassis, and this particular body was locally built here in Adelaide in 1914. As far as the value of the car today, it would be impossible for me to put a price on the vehicle, although I've been told that it could have a value in the 6-figure era if it were sold on the overseas markets.
This car is a 1941 United States Army staff car. It was manufactured in 1941, November 41 by General Motors in Detroit. This one was the short service at Pearl Harbor, the Philippines, and then consequently after the war it went to Manila and then to Singapore. It was bought by a gentleman from South Australia in Singapore for £400. He brought it to Adelaide by ship. Jim Claridge and myself were told about the car 3 years ago. By a gentleman who rang us up who wanted to dispose of it, so we went and looked at the car and bought it. So we made inquiries overseas and elsewhere and found it was one of 5 that was built for the US Army. It took us 2 years to restore it, a lot of hard labour. A lot of the parts for it came from America, and hence over a period of 2 years we spent nearly $12,000 on the car to get it to the condition it's in now.